What's up, fellow travelers? Adam here with PTSD and Depression.com. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing well. If you are a newcomer, I'm assuming you're probably not doing as well as I or you would hope. So today, I have a list of things I want to talk about. Your comments are the thing that drive me to do this, so thank you. So today I'm going to be doing an update, and I'm going to try to give you a step-by-step overview of how I kind of got to where I am now, which is in a very different place than where I was when I had my previous very emotional video that I'll have a link in the description if you want to check that one out. I was in a really bad spot, and now I'm actually in a really good spot, which is amazing. Drug-free, everything else free, just all natural, which is amazing. I did get some coffee to treat myself. But normally I don't even drink coffee anymore, and I probably shouldn't be doing this, but you know what? Moderation. It's okay in moderation. The high points of this video are going to be a book that I discovered that helped me with some more self-discovery, that kind of led me onto this path of kind of making the right decisions and healing even more than I already have been, which is amazing. So I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about a class that I'm currently in, which is a mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is given to veterans through the VA Medical Center. It's an 8-week class. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, talk about some of the observations of that. I'm going to talk about how I discovered yoga and meditation, possibly some homework if you're interested, but I'm not going to put the effort into, getting this stuff set up if you guys aren't interested. So if you're interested, you need to leave a comment. Okay, so let's get started. So I've been struggling with learning about myself, trying to understand, what is it that is causing me to feel these feelings and all these things, what got me into the numbness, and then, all of this stuff, because there's just so much, and it's just layer on layer, and the more you dig, the more it goes on forever. I'm a bookseller, and I found this book. I don't know if it's supposed to be backwards, but it's called The Road Back to You, an Enneagram Journey to Self-Discovery. Now, if you don't know anything about Enneagrams, it's kind of like the Myers-Briggs personality thing, but it's not quite. It seems a lot more detailed and accurate. Now, for me, I am an Enneagram Type 9. There are other Enneagram types which are close by, same area, which are probably the same, and you're probably one of these as well if you're struggling with numbness. Now, there's an entire scale from unhealthy to healthy in this, and I'm going to pull up the Type 9 unhealthy, and I want you to see if you relate to any of these, because if you do, you might be a Type 9. So the Type 9s are kind of characterized by their faults. So for a Type 9, it's sloth. So there's a little bit of Christianity kind of mixed into it, which I'm not really a fan of. But pushing that aside, there's a lot of really good information in here. It can be taken without the religious connotations. So for 9s, sloth. It refers to not physical, but spiritual laziness. 9s fall asleep to their own priorities, personal development, and responsibility for becoming their own person. And that is something I have struggled with for so long. I struggle with motivation. Like, once I get motivated, I am like a freaking freight train. But when I stop, I am a rock, and that is exactly what a Type 9 describes. It is so hard for me to get moving. Here are some of the things, and I want you to think about this for you, because I'm just curious how many of you who are suffering from emotional numbness might play into the type 9 personality. What it's like to be a 9. I'll do almost anything to avoid conflict. I am not a self-starter. Sometimes I get lost in doing trivial tasks, while things that really need to be done get put off. Bing! I'm happy to go along with what others want to do. I am definitely that way. I don't care. I tend to procrastinate. Yes, I do. People seem to want me to be more decisive. No, that's not me. When I get distracted, I go off task. I give my attention to whatever is happening right in front of me. I often choose the path of least resistance. I find routines at work and home comforting. I feel unsettled when something throws them off. Others see me as more peaceful than I really am. That is definitely true. It has been true in the past. I have a hard time getting started, but once I do, I really get things done. That is definitely me. I'm a what you see is what you get kind of person. That is definitely me. My mask is very thin. Let's just put it that way. We all carry masks, but mine is very thin, in my opinion. I don't think of myself as being very important. Very true. People think I'm a good listener, even though I find it hard to pay attention in a long conversation. No, that's not me. I don't like to take work home with me. That is me. Sometimes I tune out and think about the past. I'm a ruminator, so that is definitely me. I don't enjoy big social gatherings as much as a quiet evening at home with the ones I love. I am often quietly stubborn when people put demands on me. That is very true, which is why you will never see a Patreon request on this account, because that is demand. You're going to pay me money to do things. Guess what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it because I want to do it. You don't need to pay me. Being outdoors is very soothing. You will notice, where am I? I'm at a park right now. I'm going to go for a walk in the freezing cold after this. And it would feel selfish to spend a whole day doing whatever I wanted to do. That is not me. No. So those are some of the traits of the type 9. And the type 9, by the way, is the peacemaker. So I'm not even going to worry about the healthy type 9s. I'm not even going to worry about the average type 9s. I'm going to talk about the unhealthy 9s, which is what I was, and I'm borderline still at. But I'm getting healthier. So unhealthy 9s have troubles making decisions and become overly dependent on people, on substances, all this. To dull feelings of sadness and anger, they engage in numbing behaviors, struggling to maintain the illusion that all is well. They can swap between acquiescence and open hostility. So if you want more information on Enneagram, and you want to figure out who you are, this helped me, and that's why I am recommending it. I will have a link in the description. So let's get to the part where just one little teeny tiny sliver of information put me on a completely different path. Oh yeah, type 9s are passive aggressive. I love to distract. All right, where is it? Okay. So if you're like, damn, that's me, I'm a type 9. It seems like type 9s are not really motivated by money. And I know I am not. I have made lots of money in the past, and I've gotten rid of all that. I don't even care anymore. So 10 paths to transformation for 9s. Journal on the question, what is my calling or life's program? Am I pursuing it, or am I postponing it to keep the peace? Am I numbing myself to keep me where I am, to not grow? That's what I was doing. Asking for help, Now, this can be in task management, to do, information. It can be, on decision making, things like that. I've been asking people for help, and it has been amazing. It can open your eyes to, the willingness of people to help. It's so amazing. Practicing saying no. I don't really have this problem, but not saying yes or not saying no is still not saying what you want. And type 9s are all about not speaking up for yourself. And that was me, definitely. Beware of the numbing strategies you use to avoid dealing with life. Whether that's a glass of wine, porn, alcohol, work. Positives can be just as bad. So resist the urge to fall back on passive-aggressive behaviors. That means not saying things when you feel it. Not worrying about whether people are going to like you or not. There's a fine line, but being able to stand up for yourself is very important. Remember that what feels like intense, terrible conflict to you might just be a typical disagreement for someone else. So, because everybody is different, we all perceive differently. And that perception forms worries and anxieties and all these things. But if you take a step back and kind of realize that this is me that's perceiving it, it's not the world. So the more you do it, this is all practice. So you have to practice this stuff. But the more you do it, you start seeing like, oh, these things that I thought weren't true. Well, how many other things aren't true about my beliefs? And, the same pile that you got buried in, there's the false pile where you just buried stuff on you. And then there's a truth pile where like the more you dig, you're like, oh, this is true stuff. Interesting. So it works both ways. Guys, really quick, like I said, this is going to be a long video. I literally just got a message on my phone saying I got my offer that I put on a house accepted, which means I'm going to have my own place to live. And it is thanks to this book. When you feel paralyzed in the face of a decision, consult someone who won't tell you what to do, but rather will help you tease out what you want. I was struggling with decisions to the point where I was paralyzed. I couldn't make a decision, good, bad, anything. I was just stuck. And that was part of when I was in that last video. But I'm looking for something that was specifically in here that I'm not finding. And I guess I'm just going to have to bring it up myself. They were talking about the right decisions. Now, with a type 9, as I am, I avoid the right decisions. And it took me a long time to realize that. And me I will intentionally not go to the right decisions. Almost like because I knew it was good for me. And I knew that it would help me. So after this book and doing some more studying and researching and understanding, because that's, with emotional healing, you got to have the understanding. You got to have the understanding and at least the openness to believe that it's possible and the openness to believe that you can do it. Like I said, it's practice. It takes time. This isn't anything that is going to happen overnight, over months, depending on you. It might take your entire life. But in my opinion, if you have one day where you get to feel whole, feel whole for one day of your life. think that's a good life. A little emotional there. It happens. It's good. Trust me, it's freaking good. It feels good. I'm fogging up though. Okay, glasses off. Okay. So the right decisions. I started to kind of go with my gut, because there are always these things that I know I should be doing. I should be eating better, and I'm sure you're this way too. You know what you should be doing, but you, for some reason, you cannot. Whether you don't believe that you are good enough or any of these things. I believe you can just make the decision and do it. It might be terrifying. It might be incredibly painful. It might be awful the first time. But once you jump over that, you get over that one, guess what? The next one's a little smaller. You get smaller until you look back behind you and you're like, the mountain's behind me. What's in front of me? So that's what I did. I knew I needed to get out of the house because I was disconnected. I was not talking to people. I had no social contact, whatever. My mind was just assaulting me in every way possible, imaginable. So I started going for walks again. I wanted to get back into working on glass. It's something I really enjoyed in the past. Art is a very therapeutic thing for me. So I sent a few emails off to a glass studio, and somebody got back to me and wanted me to help in their studio. So I have been volunteering, which has actually it was volunteering, and it turned to an internship, and now I'm going to start getting paid to do this. I'm going to get paid to do some of the things that I love, which is amazing. Now, I believe in volunteering as a way to heal emotional numbness, because it forces you out of yourself. It gets you to socialize with people. It gets you to see how other people are living who may not be as fortunate as you. You may not even realize that you're not as bad off as you thought you were. And it can help you focus. For me, the glass working, it really forces me to be present in the present moment. You cannot turn your attention away from hot glass, because it will do whatever it's gonna do, because you got to spin it and it will just bloop, fall off. Then you got hot glass going everywhere. So for me, it's a form of meditation. It gives me purpose. So I feel like I'm a part of this glass studio now. I feel like it's so nice to be a part of something. So that's why, if you find something that you like to do and go out and volunteer, and you'll meet people, and you can practice talking and sharing and being open, and that will just help that numbness dissipate even more. So the next thing, after I had such good experiences doing that, I discovered mindfulness-based stress reduction. Now, I didn't really discover it. I was offered it through a class, through the VA. And once again, right decisions told me that I should do it. So here's the book. This is an 8-week course. Both of the books that I am talking about are going to be in the description. And also, I will do this if requested. I thought about putting all of the class that I'm going through, the paperwork, on my website, and you can do it yourself. Follow each week. If I put the papers up, just try it and see what happens, because that's what I did. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. Do I believe in it? No. Do I think it's gonna work? Probably not. But am I gonna try it and give it a chance? Yeah, and it freaking works. By the way, if you're a military veteran, if you go to the VA, your behavioral health services, ask them if they have a mindfulness-based stress reduction program. Mine is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I am actually on week 5. I just did a 9-hour silent retreat 2 days ago, and it was interesting. And like I said, if enough people leave comments and you want me to put up the curriculum on my website at www.ptsdanddepression.com, I will definitely do that for you, but only if you request it. So with this got me on the path of meditation and yoga. So I've been practicing meditation and yoga every morning for 5 weeks now. And I'm up to almost, I did 50 minutes of sitting meditation today. It's better than any of the drugs I've ever been on. It's so calming and soothing and enlightening. Like, that's why I'm sharing this. And I want to talk you into trying it. You don't need to buy the book. You don't need, it just helps. If you do buy the book, that would help me be able to make more videos. But like I said, you do not have to do that. If you want to try it, like I said, I will make a step-by-step thing when I have time. And you can just follow that. So, but some of the observations I've made doing the meditation is just my thoughts. These are not my quotes, but thoughts think themselves. We have no control over the thoughts that we are thinking. We are biologically programmed to think certain ways, certain things, and it consumes you. And looking back now at my really bad, isolating myself, that just lets your thoughts go wild, and they just grab you, and they're like the freaking depression monster. They just want to rip your face off, and they don't want you going anywhere. They just want you freaking squished into the floor. But when you start becoming observant, you start realizing that your emotions aren't, your thoughts aren't, they're not you. Then you kind of take a step back and you're like, you can kind of watch them and you're like, and just let it go, and they'll just come by and you're like, hey thought, oh, really? Well, that's a shitty thought. Well, guess what? It doesn't mean anything. Here comes, oh, that's a nice thought, or that's a sexy thought. Yeah. They're just thoughts. So they just come by. You don't have to act on them. You don't even have to feel them. So in a way, with emotional numbness, we are already predisposed to be able to do this very well, which is a pretty cool thing to think about. Because if you think about it, you thought that, there's actually very good benefits for emotional numbness. It might not seem like it right now, but from an evolutionary standpoint, there's a reason why this is going on. Now, when we can figure that out and turn it around and use it in our benefit, we become more powerful. And that's self-power, not to change others, but to change ourselves. So from that, I got into the yoga, and, not mainstream yoga. This is healing yoga. So I found a place in St. Paul, and I'm just going to plug him. I don't think anybody here is from St. Paul, but if you are, we should definitely get coffee together sometime. Tula Yoga. So, I'm not going to get into, how I picked the place. If you want me to get into how I picked the place, I would be happy to show you or create a video or explain it. It's not that difficult. You can tell, what yoga places are going to be positive. But so with yoga, it's all about the mind-body connection. And with emotional numbness, the emotions aren't gone. I want you to let this sink in a little bit. Your numbness, the emotions are still there. Where do you think they are? Do you think they're up here? No. They are in your body. Now I'll try to prove this. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Might just blow up in my face. You got any back pain? You got any lower back pain? Does it hurt when you look this way? Look this way, look up. Oh, look down. That hurt. I'm still in pain, but it's going away. Do your feet hurt? Yeah, your feet probably hurt. If your feet hurt, your back hurts. We're carrying a lot of emotional baggage. Just Google muscle massage emotional release, or chiropractor emotional release. It is real. I've experienced it. Because when you're in this emotional numbing state, it doesn't go away. So what do you think happens? Do you ever wake up and you feel like you're just in a vice? Because that's what I was feeling like. I don't, not so much anymore. But I mean, if you think about it, what am I doing with my hands right now? I am tightening. So that is what's happening to your muscles. Your thoughts, your emotions that you've been hiding are in your muscles, and they're wrenching them, right? And they're not going to let go unless you can very gently, very easily let them go. Because what happens, like if a dog's holding onto a chew toy and you try to pull real hard, guess what? The dog's not going to let go. Neither are your muscles. They want to be let go very gently. And that's what yoga does. And what happens when it lets go very gently, what happens is it starts releasing the energy. It starts releasing the blood flow. It starts releasing the emotions that were tied in there. So that can be a bad experience, a difficult thing to deal with, but it's true. And it can turn your senses back on. Like, I noticed my skin I could feel feelings more. Like, I just feel and perceive things in a different light. And I'm not going to pretend to try to explain it to you. You need to try it and see if it works for you. And chances are it probably won't work right away. Like I said, it takes time. It takes patience with yourself. This isn't something that, emotional numbness for most of us, if we've never dealt with it, it's going to take years. It might take, like I said, it might take the rest of our lives. But I guarantee you that going off and going this way instead of this or this to end life, we can do this. And you can go as far as you want, or as far as you're willing to go. You can stop whenever you want, or you can continue to be miserable too. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can stay right where you're at. So this was a pretty long video. I would love to hear your comments. I'm going to leave this video with a few tips, talking to myself again as a reminder, and I'm talking to you directly. High five. Booyah! All right. Number 1, stop pretending that you know what's going on. We don't really know what's going on. We have general ideas, but all those ideas have been created by who we were. Which means all of our views are based off of an emotional numbing perception. You're open to not knowing what's going to happen. You step out of the box of thinking about what's going to happen, because if you think something is going to happen, guess what? That's the way it's going to happen. That's just how it works. And that kind of puts a limit on the things that can happen. Whereas if you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. Let's just see what happens. Then anything can happen. You have no idea. I am in a spot where I just let it happen, starting with that book, and things are going really well for me. Who knew? Baby steps. Like I said before, I like this. I'm going to go to drawing. An artist once told me that you have to make something ugly before you can make it pretty. So when you're starting out trying to get through the emotional numbness, it ain't going to be pretty. You're going to fail a lot. And that's fine. Try not to judge. Try not to beat yourself up. You've got to, that's what got you there in the first place. Try to just let go and just be like, okay, I'm going to just do baby steps. I'm not going to beat the crap out of myself. I'm going to try to show myself kindness. And eventually, you'll fail, and then you'll be like, oh, hey, I succeeded at something. And just take that and be like, that's your carrot on a stick. Hey, look, I succeeded at something. I'm just going to keep going. You keep going, you just get better and better at it. It's practice. Everything is practice. You can't be a master at anything if you're not any good at it. You can't get any better. You can't start feeling unless you don't start practicing trying to feel. Like I said, take your time. Don't rush. Would you rather live in a house that somebody threw together really quickly, or would you rather live in a house where somebody took their time and built it and put thought into it and, educated themselves about it? That's the kind of house I want to live in. That's the kind of house I want you to live in. Accept where you're at right now. Acceptance. I mean, that's not number one. I would say number one is recognizing that you are the way you are, accepting the way you are, investigating, this is the rain analogy, investigating why you are the way you are, and then in a non-judgmental way, try to, and this might not be the end of it, but try to progress and work on that. And I promise you that it works. Stop distracting yourself. This is really me. Stop distracting yourself with dank memes, social media, useless information, whether it is sight, through videos, through all this stuff. And it's not all the time. Just take some time out for yourself to not be distracted. The news, politics, and just try to focus on being present. And the more you do it, the more you realize that how much information we are being bombarded with on a daily basis that are affecting our thoughts. Because even when you're numb, your thoughts are controlled by emotions. Do not think for 1 second that they are not. Anyways, wow, this was a long video. And but I hope you guys got something from it. If you're still here, you're amazing. So thanks for watching. This is Adam with PTSD and Depression.com, and I'm out.